Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today's Daily Record is a Guitar Hero album featuring one of the great guitarists of all time, Mr. Phil Keaggy, and this is his instrumental album, The Master and the Musician, released in 1978. This is an instrumental album and released on New Song Records. It was later reissued in the late 80s on Murrah Records, including a bonus track of Phil doing Amazing Grace. And there's been a deluxe edition that's come out since then. This is widely regarded as one of the great instrumental albums of all time. Now, a little background on Phil. He is a guitarist. A lot of people know Phil because he sounds and even looks a little bit like Paul McCartney. And Phil is a devoted McCartney fan, so I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. I think when he was younger, he probably was heavily influenced by the Beatles and particularly McCartney. But in 1970, after playing in a few bands, he was first in the Squires, which was sort of a garage rock band in Ohio. He met up with longtime friend John Safara and formed the band Glass Harp and started playing around Youngstown, Ohio, and was really building a bit of a following. They had won a few Battle of the Bands contests and started to get some opening gigs for some major groups. They even went to New York to play at Carnegie Hall, opening up for the Kinks. And so they found the producer, Louis Merenstein, found them, and he got them signed to Decca Records, and they kind of started to build a bit of a following as one of the great power trios in rock, featuring the incredible guitar work of Phil Keaggy. But Phil was kind of big into the drug scene, and his mother was in a terrible car accident, which injured her so badly that she actually died. And Phil's older sister helped him become a born-again Christian. Now, Glass Harp was still around and recording, but this sort of Christianity was starting to seep into Phil's writing and his outlook on life, and so they became like one of the first like major Christian rock bands, which later became contemporary Christian music. Now, Phil later left the band, went in a different direction, and started doing more of a straight ahead contemporary Christian sound, and started doing more stuff. But as a gifted guitar player, Phil was playing with groups like Second Chapter of Acts, was touring, also doing his own sort of solo work, and releasing these things. Well, finally he did the album that I think everybody was waiting for at the time, this instrumental album. Now, just really quickly, I want to do the liner notes here that Phil wrote. It has long been my heart's desire to do an instrumental album for you. Many sides of me are expressed in the context of The Master and the Musician. The years have contributed to this music, my love of old English melodies, classical guitar, jazz, and rock and roll. I'm also growing up as a man into something larger than the music itself, being one of many. Our goal is an upward call, the joy of being in the presence of the high and exalted one. This piece, a collection of music along with a story by Stuart Skadron Waddles, is dedicated to you, the listener. Follow me up, Phil Keaggy. And just a really interesting album. Phil does most of the instruments. There's not really any lyrics or vocals. There are some sounds on there. Some flute and recorders and things like that. Some Moog synthesizer sounds. A little bit of it's kind of dated, but as an album to listen to, it's certainly fantastic. Phil's guitar playing is very melodic, easy to follow, but he also does a lot of that technical stuff where his fingers just fly all over the fretboard and dazzle the listener with fast fingers. He's widely regarded as one of the great finger pickers, and rightfully so. And even more interesting than that, if you look closely there at the photo, I don't know if you can see it through the glare, but he is 9-fingered like Jerry Garcia. This finger is missing, middle finger, and so kind of makes him a bit more interesting as a player that he is as gifted as he is. But The Master and the Musician by Phil Keaggy, today's daily record, and a classic guitar album of any genre. So if you don't like your Christian music to be preachy, but you do like good guitar playing, this is a great way to start. So I highly recommend it. Phil Keaggy's Master and the Musician. Like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. I love talking and interacting with you guys. In the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another daily record.